Hey guys, welcome back. This week's video is going to be a little different than usual. It features some big spooks, some very sad news, and a training truth that I learned from this week's experience. Just a little recap on this horse and the method that I'm using. This is Zara. She is a wild Mustang that I'm training with Dr. Patricia Eirich's Mustang taming method that uses mostly positive reinforcement. It focuses on training the horse in the least fearful scenario. Why is that important? Well, have you ever been afraid, like really afraid for your life? Let's say that you're terrified of heights, but I take you to the top of a cliff, dangle your legs down, and then try to teach you a math lesson. How do you think that you would learn? That's how I think about it now with horses. Maybe it's a fake cliff and you were totally safe, but you didn't know that. All you knew is that you felt like you were going to die. You were terrified. When a horse feels frightened, it learns escape behaviors, and it will store that bad memory into long-term memory. Keeping a horse in its least fearful state during training is going to get the most out of the animal, aka it can learn better. This method focuses on giving the animal a choice in its training by giving it rewards when it does choose to engage. Keep in mind, this Mustang is still trying to figure out what we humans are all about. I thought it was important to share the whys behind taking the least fearful scenario route. Some of the spooks in this video are my fault, and some are from things going on outside of the pen. Unfortunately, though, there are more spooks this week than in all of our training combined. This time, I pushed her over thresholds. The Willing Equine's definition of fear threshold is the point at which a stimulus is at a strong enough intensity to cause a negative and fearful reaction. So here, she is over threshold, showing apparent signs of distress, anxiety, and fear towards the stimulus, which is me and my hand. You can see she's quite nervous about me touching her leg that low. I clearly pushed her too far. And then there is this one where I tried to take her halter off a new way without properly prepping her for it. How do I know I didn't prep her properly? That response is the judge. It's important to note that she is in no way being bad or naughty. She has no control over that fear reaction. The animal never decides to be frightened any more than it decides to salivate. Dr. Patricia Eirich. And then there were a whole slew of spooks that were outside of our control. A random noisy flock of birds flying overhead, a roofer throwing a frisbee toward her pen and an unknown dog chasing it, and then Kazi standing outside of the pen knocking over all of my training equipment, aka stimulus, to practice targeting with Zara. Each time this happened, I had to be patient to allow her stress levels to lower. You'll notice that when she does spook, she comes right back. I take that as a good sign. Will she ever get over this? That's a good question. Yes, she will eventually get used to most of the normal things in domestic life. But I still scream and jump every time somebody jumps out from behind a door or closet to scare me. I just don't run for the hills anymore. It was hard for Zara to focus on me when the roofer was throwing a frisbee toward us for his dog to retrieve. She wasn't thinking about playing the game anymore. She was thinking about how to escape. This can feel frustrating until you put yourself in your horse's shoes. On Tuesday afternoon, I tried to work with Zara, but I just could not focus. She was eager to train, but I couldn't keep myself in the pen. I was fearful, and my mind was preoccupied with what had happened earlier that day. Earlier that day, I was at the vet with my two pet rats who are both not doing well. If you don't know these boys, they are Zorro and Zazu, and they mean the world to me. I got them when I was in a very low season emotionally, when Kazi went lame and was not rideable. I felt isolated and alone on the island, and though I still had Kazi, we could not ride together anymore. It was also winter in Washington, which means the sun never comes out. I was really struggling. I got Zorro and Zazu from the Snake Snack Shack. They were bred to be snake food, but they were destined to be mine. These boys brought me joy while I drank coffee before work. I'd feed Kazi after work and then head home and cuddle them again, so they will always hold a special spot in my heart. Zazu has a respiratory infection and is seriously ill. He has been losing weight rapidly. Even after the vet visit, we are not sure if he will make it, but he's being treated here at home. Zorro has a mammary tumor that will continue to grow and eventually inhibit his motion because it's under his arm. It could technically be removed, but he's pretty old for the surgery and it's extremely expensive. After Zazu's treatment at the vet, he almost went mad. He was in extreme pain and I wasn't sure if he would make it through the night. He did, thankfully, and his pain levels are down to more tolerable. He just might pull through this. It's just really hard to be out here focused when I just want to be inside with my little rat. Experiencing trying to train while I was sad and distracted helped me understand even more the training truth that horses and people cannot learn under high stress. I also found this to be true when I was an elementary school teacher. If a student has a crisis at home, they are unable to learn or retain new material. As people who work with horses, we have to be empathetic and not punish our horses for feeling fear. The takeaway here is being patient and having empathy for yourself and your horse. I want to make videos that you guys want to watch, and I want to wow you with the progress we make. But at the end of the day, this is a process that has its own timeline, and my life outside of training and YouTube affects it as well. The slower you go, the faster you'll get there. That's an old cowboy quote. It might not be 100% correct, but it's comforting during weeks like this where I just want to roll up in a ball and cry. The one thing I can say is, even though this week has been really tough, we have been consistent. I've worked with Zara every single day for the last 3 weeks. Even if it was only 15 minutes, we didn't miss a day. I'm not trying to be a downer, but the reality is when you get a Mustang, your life doesn't stop. It goes on and things come up. We are halfway through the 26 tasks in this training method. I'm hoping for good weather these next couple weeks so that we can finish them up by Christmas. Keep my ratties in your prayers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.